Gigasaurus. There's way too much socializing going on up here. So, as I was saying, now we've been meeting for many, many years, and out of this love for the music has come this great community of people that just love to spend time together and work on the tunes. And we have the fiddle camps, the Valley of the Moon Scottish Fiddle School, the Sierra Fiddle Camp, and many other opportunities to get involved in the music. And it takes people power to do that. And I would like to honor one of our members of the group since the beginning, our fiddle club pianist, Judy Thompson. And we're going to feature Judy on this next piece, which is called Trip to Skye. And after that, we'll play a tune which was written by my son, Galen Fraser, and it's a tune called Je suis prêt, which means I am ready, and happens to be the clan motto of the Frasers. Are you ready? So we have a very special guest with us, and have had, over the years, a kind of an extended member of our fiddle club, San Francisco Scottish Fiddlers. And this is someone who has grown up in the tradition of playing Scottish music, but not in Scotland. And I'm sure you know the Scottish story, or some of it. It's a common story, too common in some ways, where at some point in history people are required to leave their homes and emigrate. And that happened in Scotland. We had the Highland clearances. In the 19th century, many people were forced to leave their homes, and ended up on the eastern seaboard of this country and all the way up into Canada. And there's a wee oasis of Scottish music up in Canada, in Nova Scotia. And as we zoom in to Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia, you find it's populated mostly by Highlanders from Scotland. And they took with them their Gaelic, their fiddles, their stories, their culture, because that was about all they could grab in a hurry to get on the boat. And to this day, it's one of the few places where you can dance any night of the week to the sound of a fiddle. And I love it because, and I'll be there again in October, in Sydney, Nova Scotia, they built a brand new concert hall. They love the fiddle in Cape Breton. It's a way of life. It gets you through the winters, and it gets you through the summers as well. And they built this fabulous new concert hall in Sydney Harbour, and it's a very impressive building. But even more impressive is in front of the concert hall, 3 stories high, is a statue of a fiddle. And it sits there, stands there, and radiates fiddleness out to the rest of the world. And it's a great statement for Cape Breton. So, growing up in that tradition, we have Barbara Johnny Archie MacDonald McGowan, who played the piano for all the great Cape Breton fiddlers from when he was a wee lass, sneaking into the late night ceilidhs, hiding under the piano, learning the tunes, sleeping under the piano, and becoming now a custodian of that tradition. So here's Barbara Johnny Archie MacDonald McGowan on Cape Breton piano.
There's a Scottish folk singer and English teacher named Adam McNaughton in Glasgow who is having trouble getting his students interested in the works of William Shakespeare. So he had an idea. He took the 4-hour play Hamlet, reduced it to a 3-minute version, translated it into Scottish and set it to a fiddle tune. It's called Ur Hamlet, and there's a bit of a chorus. Basically, when you hear the word Hamlet, sing it. Okay. There was this king sitting in his garden all alane, when his brother in his ear poured a wee ted a henbane, stole his brother's crown and his money and his widow, but the dead king walked and got his son and said, "Hey, listen, kiddo, I've been killed and it's your duty to take revenge on Claudius. Kill him quick and clean and show the nation what a fraud he is." Kid says, "Right, I'll do it, but I'll have to play it crafty to make sure they don't suspect me. I'll kid on that I'm a dafty." So for all except Horatio, and he counts him as a friend, Hamlet, that's the boy he kids on, he's round the bend. And because he's no yet willing for obligatory killing, he tries to make the king think that he's tuppence off a shilling. Takes a rise out of Polonius, treats poor Ophelia vile, tells Rosencrantz and Guildenstern that Denmark is a chile. Then a troupe of roving actors like 784 arrive to do a special one-night gig in Elsinore. Hamlet, Hamlet, acting bammy. Hamlet, Hamlet, loves his mammy. Hamlet, Hamlet, hesitating. He's no certain if the ghost's a fake, and that is why he's waiting. Then Hamlet writes a scene for the players to enact, while Horatio and he can watch to see if Claudius cracks. The play was called The Mousetrap, not the one that's running new, and sure enough, the king walks out before the play is through. Now Hamlet's got the proof that his uncle gave his dad the dose, the only trouble being now Claudius knows he knows. And while Hamlet tells his ma her new husband's no a fit one, Uncle Claude puts out a contract with the English king as hitman. Then Hamlet kills Polonius, and the concealed corpus delicti was the king's excuse to send him for an English hempen necktie. With Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to make quite sure he got there, but Hamlet jumped the boat and put the finger straight on that pair. Meanwhile, Laertes heard his dad has been stabbed through the arras. He comes running back to Elsinore, to sweet hot foot-fade Paris, and Ophelia with her dad killed by the man she was to marry. After saying it with flowers, she's committed Harry-Carry. Hamlet, Hamlet, not messin'. Hamlet, Hamlet, learned his lesson. Hamlet, Hamlet, Yorick's crust convinced him that men, good or bad, at last must come to dust. Then Laertes lost the place and was demanding retribution, and the king says, "Keep your heat and I'll provide ye a solution." So he arranged a sword fight for the interested parties, with a blunted sword for Hamlet and a sharp sword for Laertes. And to make things double sure, the old belt and braces line, he fixed a poisoned sword tip and a poisoned cup of wine. The poisoned sword got Hamlet, but Laertes went and muffed it, 'cause he got stabbed himself and then confessed before he snuffed it. Hamlet, Hamlet, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta get back to this play. Confessed before he snuffed it, oh yes. When Hamlet's mammy drank the wine, and then her face turned blue, Hamlet said, "I quite believe the king's a baddie new. Incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, to be precise." Then he made up for hesitating once by killing Claudius twice. 'Cause he stabbed him with the sword and forced the wine between his lips. Then he said, "The rest is silence." That's when Hamlet cashed his chips. They fired a volley over him that shook the topmost rafters, and then Fortinbras, knee-deep in Danes, lived happily ever after. Hamlet, Hamlet, all the gory. Hamlet, Hamlet, end of story. Hamlet, Hamlet, I'm away. If you think this is boring, you should read the bloody play.